Welcome to Spokane Talks, where you find news, views, and conversation that include respect for opinions, facts, and diversity. Spokane Talks is brought to you in part by McNeese Wheeler Attorneys and Rana Paint.
Welcome to Spokane Talks. I'm Ryan McNeese. On today's episode, Erik Wolfram will sit down and discuss the Outdoor Learning Center in West Valley and discuss the spectacular eagle. And then, on SheSays, the Wishing Star Foundation. And followed by the founder of Glucose Revival on Startup Spokane.
The following is sponsored by our friends and community supporters at McNeese Wheeler Attorneys. McNeese Wheeler is a boutique law firm in Spokane, handling matters in both Washington and Idaho. Areas of law include business law, wills, trusts and estates, family law, personal injury and wrongful death, and real estate matters. For your full-service legal needs, contact McNeese Wheeler Attorneys.
And welcome to Education 101. I'm your host, Erik Wolfram. And today we're going to be talking about environmental education from the Outdoor Learning Center in West Valley School District. And with me, we've got Jami Ostby Marsh, who's one of the main teachers there. And so welcome to the show.
Thanks.
So tell us a little bit about the Outdoor Learning Center, where it's at, and what kind of things you guys have there, and what kind of things you do.
So we're part of West Valley School District. We're
Right.
actually located in the same parking lot as Pasadena Park Elementary.
Right.
We've been there for 17 years. We
Oh
had our
my
17th
gosh.
birthday last year.
Really?
We started out as kind of primarily serving West Valley School District.
Mm-hmm.
The original grant that we wrote through Fish and Wildlife, in conversations with them, they talked about birds of prey being euthanized every year that could
Okay.
be candidates for education birds. And
Sure.
so luckily I just happened to have my wildlife rehabber's license and was able to bring birds on. And so over the years we have 8 different education birds. So hawks
Really?
and owls and a falcon.
Okay.
And they will go into the classroom. We also have
Oh my
tortoises and snakes and fish and all sorts of dead mounted stuff too. So
Yeah.
most of our days are spent with elementary age students,
Okay.
with West Valley students, and then we also do outreach programs for other school groups too. So
Right, and you mentioned that about 75% of the time you're with West Valley kids, but then you bring in other districts as well for field experiences, and you also have open houses that are more to the public, right?
Yeah, yeah. So if you're a classroom teacher and you're looking for something, maybe a field experience to do with your students, we can provide support for that. If you are part of West Valley School District, we're kind of just infused within the curriculum.
Within the curriculum.
Yeah, and then we started getting a lot of calls probably 10 years ago about, can I just bring my kids? And we started thinking about how we were doing a disservice for our community. So then we started the open house events.
Right.
Each month we pick a different theme.
Okay.
We don't do one in December because it's just too crazy with all the holidays and
Sure,
everything.
sure.
But because we're primarily Monday through Friday kind of people serving school groups, we decided that we would do open houses.
So you have one coming up in January. What's the theme?
It's winter adaptations.
Nice.
And so we're looking mostly at animals and how they adapt to survive better. Do they migrate? Do they grow thicker fur? Do they hibernate? And that kind of thing. So it's just, learning about how animals survive when the temperatures drop.
Well, it's appropriate for this time, definitely for this time of year. I know you have a lot of different activities. You take kids on experiences and so on, which is a great opportunity. And what I'm hoping we can do is when we come back from a quick break, I'm hoping that we can have Jami be able to give us a little bit of an insight on a couple of their activities. So here's a little word from our sponsor, and we'll come right back.
The economy is getting stronger, banks are lending again, and interest rates are at historic lows. Now is a great time to buy your dream home. The caring and knowledgeable professionals at Homes for You have been helping people just like you for over 20 years. They take the time to listen to what you want and will help you find just the right home in Washington or Idaho. Real estate is what we do at Homes for You, 928-5782, or visit online at homes4uspokane.com.
And welcome back to Education 101. Talking again with Jami from the Outdoor Learning Center. And what I'm excited about is she's going to take us through a little test, and we're going to see how we do. So I hope out there you're ready for this and you have your volume turned up because, Jami, I'm going to just let you take it away and tell us all about it.
So a cool phenomenon that's happening right now is that the bald eagles are migrating here to Wolf Lodge Bay and Coeur d'Alene.
Right.
They're here to feed on the kokanee salmon who are ending their life cycle and spawning. So I have a test for you, Erik.
Okay,
to
I'm
see
ready.
if you can identify a bald eagle call.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm going to give you two choices because I'm keeping it simple.
Okay,
If you were a child, I would give you three choices.
What's
Okay,
that
so
say?
here
Do I have to
is
close my eyes?
choice number one. I better make sure my volume is turned up.
Okay.
Choice number one. Okay, I'll pause that one. And then choice number two is...
Okay, I got a good sound.
Loading.
Oh.
Okay.
Okay.
So choice number one.
So those are my two.
Those are your two choices, yep.
I'm going to pause for a second for those of you out there watching to see if you can figure this out. I'm thinking that the first one might have been like a hummingbird.
Okay.
But the second one was the eagle.
Okay.
That's what it is.
Well, the bad news is you
come
are
on.
incorrect because the first one was the bald eagle.
Not a
But it's
hummingbird.
not your fault. No,
Okay.
it's not a hummingbird. So what happens is Hollywood has actually done it. It's their fault. So what they do is they dub a bald eagle call because it doesn't sound very cool, and they dub a red-tailed hawk call into its place.
A red-tailed hawk, which
So-
we have around here anyways,
Yes,
which
and
is
all
probably why I
those
chose
old
it.
westerns you see when the bald eagle is soaring in the...
That's
they dub
amazing.
Red-tailed hawk.
Jami, thank you so much for being here. You know, if you guys want to find out a little bit more about these animals and what they do at the Outdoor Learning Center, look Jami up, Outdoor Learning Center in West Valley School District. Thanks for watching on Education 101.
Next up on SheSays, Stephanie Regalado sits down with the Wishing Star Foundation, assisting with children with life-threatening health conditions.
The following is sponsored by our friends and community supporters at McNeese Wheeler Attorneys. McNeese Wheeler is a boutique law firm in Spokane, handling matters in both Washington and Idaho. Areas of law include business law, wills, trusts and estates, family law, personal injury and wrongful death, and real estate matters. For your full-service legal needs, contact McNeese Wheeler Attorneys.
Hello, welcome to SheSays. I'm Stephanie Regalado, your host. I'm here today with Krista, Caro, and Andrea Kilgore. I was for a minute thinking my mind was going to switch your names, but I did not.
It's all right.
You ladies are with the Wishing Star Foundation here in Spokane, created 35 years ago by a teacher who, Andrea, you can share this story.
Karen Kurowski, she had a child in her class that had a brain tumor, and she wasn't able to help him at the time. So she cashed in her 401, bought tires for her car, and went door to door just wanting to create a wish so that nobody ever had to have that experience that the little boy had. So she really believed in the power of a wish and just wanted to help all the children.
How many wishes do you think you have granted over 35 years?
Well,
Do you know?
almost 1,300.
Oh, my goodness.
Crazy.
And you have 35 kiddos with wishes ready to be granted.
Yes.
And 30 referrals ready to be considered and processed. What is the process like for those 35 kids?
The ones that are waiting.
The ones that are waiting.
Are mostly waiting on their parents to fill out the paperwork. It's really it's really simple, but you got to think it's an emotional thing.
Yeah.
You know, so for these families, it's not just a matter of, you know, you see they have so much medical stuff or they're doing, so it's one more thing.
Yes.
So even though wishes are amazing and they're great, it's just still kind of difficult. It's a difficult thing to sit down and do. The paperwork itself is really simple. It's tell us about your child. And then signing a waiver for us to contact the doctor. So it's not, it's a really simple process.
Yes.
It's just mostly waiting for the parents to, you know, come to terms and be emotionally okay with it.
Well, and these are children who are facing a life-threatening condition.
Or life-shortening.
Or life-shortening.
Or medically complicated.
And so there has to be so many emotions for those parents involved.
Absolutely.
Are all of the kiddos open to and excited about a wish?
Absolutely.
To the best of their cognitive abilities?
Yes, absolutely.
And even the ones that aren't, we do comfort wishes as well. So it's not always traveling or meeting a celebrity. It's like sometimes these wishes are, how can we make this child's life better?
Right.
Yeah.
And that they're excited about. So
Yeah, and that can be anything from medical equipment that just helps them get around to more accessibility in their home.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Well, and everything is so expensive, and you already have these mounting medical bills. I can only imagine what that's like for the families.
yeah, and that's kind of where we come in is we try to help bring them just that joy. So there's the hope of the wish, and then there's the beyond the wish where we're helping them and touching base and seeing what the family's needs are, if they, you know, providing them with Disney on Ice tickets or just an event where we can gather and be together.
Absolutely.
You know.
We're going to take a quick break to hear a message from our sponsor, and we're going to come right back to find out how people can become involved.
That's great. Thank you.
The economy is getting stronger, banks are lending again, and interest rates are at historic lows. Now is a great time to buy your dream home. The caring and knowledgeable professionals at Homes for You have been helping people just like you for over 20 years. They take the time to listen to what you want and will help you find just the right home in Washington or Idaho. Real estate is what we do at Homes for You, 928-5782, or visit online at homes4uspokane.com.
Welcome back to She Says. I'm Stephanie Regalado with Krista, Caro, and Andrea Kilgore from the Wishing Star Foundation. How does the community, you are 100% community funded.
We are 100% funded by individual contributions.
That's it.
Which is sponsorships, personal donations, that kind of thing. No federal money, no state money, no grant money.
Because with your model, there is no
there's
way
no
to
way to quantify what we do. Yeah,
priceless.
Exactly.
That's the
right. And saying we provide joy to children it's a wonderful thing to be able to say.
Absolutely.
It's not something that you can put on a grant report.
Yeah, absolutely. But I guess the good news with that is that anyone in the community, no matter their ability, can somehow contribute.
And our community is so generous.
Amazing. We're really the conduit between the incredibly generous people here in the community and the children that need them. We are local. We raise money locally. We keep the money local. We're supporting local families right here in our community, and that's really powerful.
Well, and you do support them long after the wish because they become part of the Wishing Star Foundation, which is a community who supports one another during some really unimaginable times.
Absolutely. Yeah, once a wish family, always a wish family.
Yes. You have a couple of events that are pretty magnificent.
We do.
Next one up.
We have Taste Spokane. It's coming up on February 15th out at Northern Quest, and it's we get a bunch of different food and beverage vendors to come together. And then our signature event is Send a Friend a Goat, which happens in April.
You can send anyone a goat. Is it $50 to send a goat?
$50 to send a goat.
That's so affordable.
And then you have to pay to have the goat taken away. Or in my case, pay to keep the goat, but that didn't work very well.
That's more expensive, I think.
I offered them some money. There were other people
and they're baby goats. They're
they're
just a few days old.
Adorable.
Oh, yeah.
We have a million pictures on our website.
Yeah, because it's so precious.
And Facebook page. Yeah, it's fantastic.
It's a lot of fun.
And that is in April?
Yes.
April, yes.
anyone can find out how to become involved. There's so many ways to support Wishing Star.
We have so many volunteer needs, and
Yeah.
again, any monetary donation can make a huge, huge difference to our families.
Absolutely.
So wishingstar.org. We also have a Facebook page we keep pretty on top of.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much to the two of you for the work you're doing at Wishing Star for our families, our community. You're both magnificent. And I look forward to seeing all the other wishes that are yet to be granted. Wishingstar.org. Thank you so much.
Thank you for
Thanks,
having
Stephanie.
You're welcome.
Next up on Startup Spokane, Steve and Megan sit down with the founder of Glucose Revival and discuss a new alert for hypoglycemic diabetic patients.
The following is sponsored by our friends and community supporters at McNeese Wheeler Attorneys. McNeese Wheeler is a boutique law firm in Spokane, handling matters in both Washington and Idaho. Areas of law include business law, wills, trusts and estates, family law, personal injury and wrongful death, and real estate matters. For your full-service legal needs, contact McNeese Wheeler Attorneys.
Welcome to Startup Spokane on Spokane Talks Media. I'm your host, Steve Trabun, and joining me today is Kris Maynard. Kris is the founder and inventor of Glucose Revival. Welcome, Kris. And let's take a couple minutes and talk about this incredible solution that you've invented.
Yeah. Being a firefighter for the last 20 years, I've been able to see common emergencies. And also being a diabetic myself and experiencing it, I needed something that would work for me and be able to help my family. So we created a medical alert necklace containing the same thing, the same solution that EMTs use for this, and put it within the necklace so that it becomes now a medical alert necklace with a purpose.
Yeah, and it's a wearable device. So you're an athlete, right? And you too have type 1 diabetes, I understand, right? So
Correct.
You've actually experienced this, and you're wearing the medical alert necklace, and parents can wear it for their kids, right? I mean, so talk
Right.
a little bit about the kind of the multifaceted use of the product.
Yeah, when I woke up to the ambulance crew administering this glucose gel to me at one time is when I decided to do something with it. And now it just gives that simple form of I always have something with me to be able to take care of it.
Mm-hmm.
It also offers my family, friends, coworkers, whoever, the chance to be able to fix this most common problem, because you never know when a low blood sugar is going to happen.
Right. And so how exactly does it work? You've got this necklace. Just take us through the motions of what happens if you are going into the a hypoglycemic event and you're going to self-administer, or if your wife or friend sees you going into it, and what they're gonna do.
Yeah. The most simplest form is to compare it to toothpaste. I mean, the glucose gel is stored inside this necklace, and it's just squeezed out. It's squeezed out into the mouth, rubbed in the gums, so that it gets quick absorption. This is a fast way to be able to raise the blood sugar, to get the diabetic into a state to where now they can do what they need to do additionally to be able to combat this problem.
Yeah, and the icon or the symbol that's on the necklace itself is an international symbol for diabetes.
Correct.
So that it's sort of like people recognize it and know that it's tied to it. So people that don't have diabetes might have that awareness and be able to say, hey, that's a device that I can use to maybe save this person.
Correct. And so that's what we put on our medical alert so that people can recognize it. Most people recognize the pink ribbon for breast cancer, and this is our symbol for diabetes.
Yeah. So before we go to break, tell our viewers and listeners how they learn more about Glucose Revival.
Yeah.
Where do they go?
You can find us at glucoserevival.com. We're on Instagram. We're on Facebook. We're building a community to be able to learn more about it.
Stay with us. We'll be right back on Startup Spokane on Spokane Talks Media. Welcome back, where I'm having a great conversation with Kris Maynard, founder of Glucose Revival. And Kris, let's provide our viewers with some context of the size of the market, not just for your product, but the number of people that are affected by diabetes. So let's just look at the United States. What does that look like?
Yeah, there's over 30 million Americans that are affected by diabetes.
Yeah, so a solution like this is impactful, right? I mean, this can actually help somebody avoid getting an ambulance ride to a hospital or having something even more catastrophic happen, right? I mean,
Yes, and that's the hope. I mean, just in the United States, there's over 300,000 ER trips because of low blood sugar annually.
yeah, amazing. So you're really attacking a problem that exists and that is growing, as you said, as you've told me prior, that it's expected that 1 in 3 people in the future will be affected with diabetes. So that's you're solving a very, very large problem. Let's talk about where you are in the process. I think you've got you have prototypes. You're wearing one. You're about to soft launch. Let's talk to our viewers about what that looks like.
Yeah, and we're hoping to find more and more people. We want people to go to glucoserevival.com and sign up because we plan on sending out a number of necklaces, between 1,200, 1,500 necklaces out to be able to test the product and make sure that it's working in a functional area that people can use and will like.
Yeah, and you're doing that in January. And my understanding is that it's a worldwide, and you're going to send these out for free to these people. In return, they're going to give you very valuable feedback.
Correct.
Right?
And that's all we're asking for. It's just be honest with the feedback, and we'll send it to you. We'll ship it to you for free.
Great. And what's the target price point look like for this solution? Do you have just kind of a rough idea so our viewers
once all the testing's done, we'll know for sure, but we've tried from the beginning to keep it between $18 and $20.
Yeah, so very affordable, really intended to be a single-use device. Hopefully they don't have to use it very often, but clearly a product, a solution that provides security, right, for people that are living with diabetes.
Yeah, for those affected with diabetes and their family members.
Yeah, and so if people are interested in learning more about your solution or being part of this test market, where do they go?
You can find us on Instagram. You can find us on Facebook. But glucoserevival.com has all of our information. We want you to sign up.
Great. Well, thanks for joining us today, Kris, on Startup Spokane on Spokane Talks Media.
Cindy Haval is a freelance columnist and correspondent for the Spokesman Review and author of War Bonds, Love Stories from the Greatest Generation. The view from her porch is usually sunny.
Conference calls are a necessary evil when you live in the Pacific Northwest and write for clients on the East Coast. But that pesky 3-hour time difference means when a client schedules a 9 a.m. phone interview, it's 6 a.m. in Spokane. For me, being vertical and verbal that early is just a disaster waiting to happen. Take a recent call, for example. When my alarm rang, I staggered out of bed, grabbed a cup of coffee, and slumped at my desk. By the time I turned my computer on, my phone was buzzing, and I switched it to speakerphone. If you've never experienced a conference call, it goes something like this. Hi, Cindy, this is George checking in. Hi, George. Hey, y'all, this is Harvey. George and I say hello to Harvey. Minutes tick by, and George says, we're waiting for Deanna. A chime sounds, and Deanna says, hi, George, Harvey, and Cindy. Bill's going to sit in on this call. Bill? Who the heck is Bill? But before I have time to ask, the meeting begins. 15 minutes later, my mind starts to wander, and since no one can see me, I check my toes and write pedicure in my notes. Then I start thinking about what to make for dinner, and pork loin appears underneath pedicure. Is December 11th doable, Cindy? Suddenly, I don't know if that's Harvey or George or Bill. I know it's not Deanna. Frantically, I thumb through my calendar and says, looks likely. Great, on to item 4. What are your thoughts on this one, Bill? Discussion resumes. Meanwhile, Milo, my cat, is awakened and is rubbing at my ankles and purring like crazy. I reach down to stroke his ears. Who's Mama's big boy? Does Mama's baby need his pets? Oh, yes, he does. The sound of a throat clearing interrupts our love fest. I've forgotten I'm on speakerphone. Oh, I'm so sorry, I say. My cat just woke up and... Cat? Your cat, George says. I thought you were talking to me. Guffaws crackle across the line as Harvey insists I've always referred to him as Mama's baby. Deanna says, Cindy, before we pencil in our next conference call, can you see if Mama's big boy is available? The call ends in gales of laughter. I am mortified, but Milo seems very pleased. And that's the view from my front porch.
Thank you for joining us this week on Spokane Talks, where you find news, views, and conversation. See you next time. Welcome to Spokane Talks. We have had the opportunity to be out here on the Z Nation set. But also we're excited at Spokane Talks. We have several shows, different genres, from real estate radio, Spokane Talks Live, Meet the Candidates, The Locker Room. We have several shows coming to you that can be found on all social media platforms, as well as coming up on Fox 28. Thank you so much. It's been a great opportunity being here at Z Nation set. Thank you.
Spokane Talks is about you. Give us your feedback and comments at info@SpokaneTalksMedia.com. Spokane Talks is brought to you in part by McNeese Wheeler Attorneys and Rada Paint. We'll be back next week with additional news, views, and conversations. Please join us. So long for now.